I've just got done playing the Trails of the Sky Chapter 1st demo, and I have a few things that I would like to talk about in today's video, so I'm hoping you can join me for this one. So with that all being said, what is up guys, Jen here, hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel. As always, got you covered with timestamps down below, so if you want to skip to a certain section of this video, feel free to do so. All I ask is you to support the channel and hit the like button, and if you want to stick around for some more RPG content, then you're already in the right place. Just hit that subscribe button. Now, before I even begin, yes, there is a demo out for Trails of the Sky first chapter, and I advise you just to go and download it and play it for yourself and come back to this video. But if you need a little bit more convincing or want an opinion from someone in my position, then please continue to watch this video, because I think it's important to set the groundwork of where I'm coming from when it comes to the Trails series. What is my history and how much have I played? Well, I've only ever played Trails of Cold Steel 1, completed it, absolutely loved it, and I started Trails of Cold Steel 2, but things came up and I ended up dropping the series and not had chance to get back into it. But then I started seeing trailers of this Trails in the Sky remake. I've had a look at gameplay of the original version. I've always been curious and wanted to dive in, but this seems like it was the perfect chance to do so. So that's where I'm coming from when it comes with my history of the Trails series for those that want to know. So where are we going to begin with this demo? This is quite a chunky demo and it did offer a lot of the game. It's essentially the prologue to the full game, and your save data does continue to the full release that's coming out a little later this year, not long to go actually. So let's start off by talking about the story. And when I approach demos, I never try and get too invested into the story, because by the time I completed the demo and then I get to the full release, I've kind of forgotten about it. So I didn't pay too much attention to the story or the lore of Trails of the Sky. Essentially, I took in what I needed to, and I appreciated the overall vibe of the game, and the voice acting is a part of that, and I really enjoyed the voice acting. I always liked myself some Johnny Young Bosch, and I enjoyed his voice work as Joshua, and for Estelle, I enjoyed the vibe that she was bringing to the table as well. She is a rookie bracer and quite young and naive, and I got that impression, and I'm sure over the game in its entirety we'll see that evolve. But yeah, voice acting really added to the table here, and I enjoyed what I heard. Story seems alright, but I'm going to dive in deeper when I go play the full release, because in case you didn't know, this demo definitely sold me on the full game. So let's talk about my favorite thing I love to talk about when it comes to an RPG, and that's its exploration. Now, things start off a little bit slow here in Trails of the Sky. Things took a while, there's a lot of story build up, but when I got the first to explore, the world was my oyster. I really do like a world that has a lot of world building, NPCs to speak to, things to explore, and it does things pretty well here. All the treasure chests are displayed on the map, whether you're out exploring or doing dungeons like the sewers you get introduced to early on in the game. You can also see all the just random items, there's little blue dots. You can also see all the NPCs that need talking to, and a thing that I remember from playing Trails of Cold Steel is that you had to talk to the NPCs an awful lot in the game to either get additional lore or additional things that you might miss along the way. You need to speak to one NPC here, and then later on in the game you talk to them again and something happens. It was really hard to keep on top of, but I noticed while talking to the NPCs here is that some NPCs that are important are marked with certain objectives. Of course, we had the red objective for the main story, those green ones for side quests or side stories, and then those blue ones of where if you speak to these NPCs, you get items. And I like that. It doesn't mean that I have to talk to everyone many times, and then when a certain part of the story progresses, I have to talk to them all again. That's still there if you want that, and I did spend some time speaking to some of these NPCs, because in that first town they know Estelle and Joshua, and it's nice to kind of have that build up and that world building present. But I don't think I'm someone that's going to keep continuing to speak to every single NPC during each beat of the story, so it's nice to have those important NPCs pointed out towards you for those items that you might miss along the way. Apart from item collecting, there's also shops and upgrades that you can get for your characters, costumes to add as well if you are into that kind of customization. It's nice to have everything here, and I did enjoy it. It was quite relaxing and quite easy to get into. So let's move on for exploration and talk about combat. And combat's quite meaty here. I did get quite overwhelmed with everything that it was throwing at me. I didn't know what I needed to be doing. It introduces an action combat. There's a turn-based combat. You can do one, the other, you can do both. There is a lot of meat here in the combat. And after spending some time with it, I started to find my vibe with it. I started to find my groove, and I really started to enjoy it. So let me try and break it down without trying to overwhelm you. So as you traverse in dungeons or areas between towns, you can enter like an action combat mode where you can dodge, you can attack, and you can use a more powerful arts type attack. And essentially what you'll do is you'll come across an enemy. You can go straight into a turn-based system if you wish to do that. And I did that a few times just to see how things were. But the happy medium that I found was doing the action combat, doing a couple of perfect dodges, building up the enemy stun bar, using some art attacks, and then going straight into the turn-based mode to then get an advantage going through the turn-based combat. And then the turn-based combat reminded me of what Trails of Cold Steel is. It's very positional combat, a lot of strategy to it, and there's so many things to do and to consider, like elemental weaknesses, just weaknesses in general, attacking them from the side, attacking them from the back for bonuses. And I really liked getting into this turn-based system, having a run around in the area, working out, is this the best way to use Hurricane? Is this the best way to use this ability? And it was really satisfying once everything started to click together. Not only that, you have chains you can do, you can follow up as well, and it makes combat look and just feel really satisfying. Again, I started off being quite overwhelmed. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get into this. But by the end of this demo, I was just loving combat. And I always went for that happy medium. Though there was some cases that some enemies, I just beat them by doing the action combat, you know, like the fodder enemies that you can beat quite quickly and easily dodge. But some of the more harder enemies, and just for my own kind of pride of getting into the combat and understanding the turn-based combat a little bit more, I would get that player advantage and dive straight in. I like the arts attacks, and I like all of the abilities that you unlock along the way, because it does have quite a big system when it comes to its augment system. But combat, I think this is a really good combat system. There's something here for everyone, and that's what shone and hooked me in the most when playing the demo of Trails of the Sky first chapter. There's obviously going to be so much more when it comes to more party members. I'm really excited to just dive into the full game and just blow this combat system apart, because visually it looked pleasing, the attacks felt satisfying, and yeah, it's a pretty damn good combat system. So just supporting factors when it comes to like just unlocks and abilities. The augment system, it always reminded me of a materia system, but a bit more complex, a bit more intuitive, a lot more things to mess around with, and a lot more things to unlock and to consider. I won't dive into it too much, but I really enjoyed what we got to have a taste of here. And I'm always happy for a system that I need to put a little bit of thought into. What's the best approach? Hey, these enemies are weak against water, so shall I consider more water arts and water orbs when going into battle? And I should imagine as I get further and further into the full game that, again, there's going to be some broken builds, some OP combinations, and I'm just going to breeze through. But though saying that, I never felt there was a time where I was overpowered. There was always a layer of strategy to each battle that I approached. I think that's all for now when it comes to talking about this demo. I really do consider go play it. If you've listened to me this far, go give it a go yourself. Or if you have, let me know your thoughts down below. I'm still relatively new to the Trails series. I know it's always convoluted when it comes to what you should play first, but I'm pretty sure that this one is a go-to first when it comes to the Trails series. I'm sure there'll be people that correct me. I really enjoyed what I played of the Cold Steel series, and I do intend to go back and really enjoy that set of games when the time is right. But my focus right now is to play Trails of the Sky first chapter, because the demo did truly sell me on it. And also the music. There was a selection of playing the classic music or the modern soundtrack. Some of these tracks, man, I was just bobbing away and just listening to in the background and enjoying what it had to offer. So yeah, I'm sold on Trails of the Sky first chapter. My question to you is, did you play the original? Have you noticed some differences? I think it's important to know that I'll be talking about things that are new to me, but it might not be new to what the original brought to the table. Maybe there's a lot of new things that this remake has brought to the table, but overall, very satisfied. Bring me the full release and let's dive in. I appreciate your time. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side.